Okay, now come here. Venu, where is Srikanth Venu? Okay, fine. So that's about the controls. If you want to develop some controls, yes, there is a possibility. Then the next thing is that self registration of the custom library locations. That means, let's say, so you have a button, right? Where the button is available, sap.yum. And like that, you have some registration location, right? If you want to have custom location, okay, so self-contained, okay, registration of custom library. Self-contained registration of custom library. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible in the JavaScript view. It's not possible in other places. Custom library locations. Yes, there is a possibility. No, no, and no. So that means what? So what is this meaning? Self-contained registration of custom library. Say, let's say you have a custom library. Let's say you created a library and you want to have your own location. Self-contained registration of custom library. So if you are developing that custom library using JavaScript, yes, there is a possibility. With other cases, there is no possibility. These are some of the features. Okay, if you are able to catch that point, then it is extraordinary. Else, at least remember that, okay, yes, there are some comparisons. Okay, then so we in the programming languages or in the whatever may be, whether it is HTML, JavaScript, all these things, there will be data types. Do we have the data types? So if you look at here, okay, so therefore the next thing is that properties like types, string, what are the data types generally? Int, boolean, 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 float and all, FLOAT. So FLOAT. You need to have a lot of patience to understand this. Please try to have a good amount of time. So yes, these kind of data types are possible in all the programming language, all the views. Okay, so therefore data types are available in all the places. The next thing is that so these are the data types: string, int, boolean, all these things are the data types. The same way you will have something called what? Objects. So do we have something objects in the different views? Let's see. So the next thing is that objects. What can I say? Okay, other types like objects. Let me put it here itself so that you will understand more. Other types, like example, other types means like objects. Objects are possible in the JavaScript view, but in other cases there is no possibility. So that means your HTML view, XML view, JavaScript view, or JSON view will not support the those kind of objects. So creation of objects are not possible there. Then what else? Aggregation, association, it will be supported in all the cases. Otherwise, instead of I put this one, yes is there, right? Yes, I can put directly as a note, right? Let me put the note. Okay. So whatever possible in all the views, then I'll put as a note. Okay. So let me type like this: controls from standard and custom libraries. First one. That way it will be easy for you to remember even, because if I put a big table, then it is difficult to remember. Controls from standard and custom libraries. Then second one is what? Comma. Second one is types. TYPES. Types or property types. Properties of type. Okay, string, comma, BOOLEAN, boolean, comma, STRANG, string, comma, boolean, boolean comma int comma float. Then third one, what else? Third one, aggregation and associations. Aggregations. We'll understand aggregations and associations in coming days. That is the third one. Next, fourth one is all possible in these cases. Single event listener registration. Okay, single event listener registration. Okay, with limited scope. With limited scope, single event registration. So that means you can register the events. So registering the events, unregistering the events, I'll show you one example. Please look at this. What I'm trying to say here is that, so let's say you have some buttons, right? You will have event attached to that. If you want to attach the event, if you want to detach the event, yes, there is a possibility. So we'll see one example on that. So yes, that is possible in all the views. Then multiple events listeners, that's not possible. Then the next one is simple data bindings. Simple data bindings. Simple data bindings like path. We'll see these are all things in the coming days. Path, default, or default, comma, named model, comma, templates. Template approach. All these things we will see in the coming days. So yes, those are possible with all the views. Then the sixth one. These are some beautiful conclusions. Okay. The next one is that's all. All these five. Okay. So all these five properties. If you look at here, custom controls. Okay, properties of these types, aggregations, associations, single event registration with limited scope, then simple data bindings. All these are possible with HTML view or JSON view or JavaScript view, or the other one is XML view. All these are possible. So I no need to write this one name. So this is a note I have given. So I can remove this first and second. Delete entire rows. Okay, that's it. So this is one fantastic conclusion. If you look at here, if I want to register a custom library, if I want to develop a custom library, yes, it's possible in all the cases. Next, properties like string, boolean, all these things, yes, these are all there in all the cases. Aggregations, associations, yes, you can able to do aggregations and associations in all the views. Okay, single event registration, yes, it's possible with limited scope in all the views. Next, simple bindings. Yes, it's possible in all the cases. Okay, so we'll see example for this in coming days. That's fine. Now, if you look at here, there are properties of these types, right? Yes, these are all possible. But there are properties of objects. Properties of other types or other property types. What is the meaning of other property types? Other property types means objects. Other property types. Other properties types like objects. Objects are possible in the JavaScript only, JavaScript view. In other cases, it's not possible. So in other cases, it's not possible. Okay, so the next one is what is that? The next one is self-registration. So that's possible here only. So it's not possible in other cases. Then the next one is, if you look at here, single event registration. The same way there is a multi-event registration. Okay, multiple event listener registration. Event listener, multiple event listeners without scope. So if you look at here I said with single, if you look at the point here, single event registration. What is the meaning of single event? S is a event. Okay, mouse over is a event. If you look at here, take this one. Let's take the MS Word. I'm pressing the keyboard. So down, key down is an event. Key up is an event. I hover on this, that is an event. So therefore, single event registration with limited scope is possible in all the views. The same way, multi-event listeners without scope. That means I don't want to specify the scope. Then that kind of things are possible only in the JavaScript. Rest of the cases it's not possible. Rest of the cases it's not possible. Okay. So the next one. So that's about the multi-event listeners. Then we talked about the simple bindings. That's over. Okay. So if you look at here, I said here is a simple binding. Simple binding means what? Alternative, there is a complex binding also, right? So therefore, customize data bindings. Data bindings we will see in the coming days, maybe after 2-3 days. Customize data bindings. Like, what is the meaning of customize data bindings? If you see here, okay, so simple data bindings means I said path, templates, models, all these things. Customized data bindings means like formatters, comma, data types, comma, factory approach, and so on so. And so on so. So these kind of things are possible in the JavaScript only. In other cases, it's not possible. That's the powerful of JavaScript view. That's why I said if you want to have more dynamic content, then JavaScript view. So I am trying to explain like what are all possible with the different views. Okay, so these 5 are possible in all the views. And if you look at here, the one whatever I am trying to draw, it's like a yes or no kind of thing. Okay, so simple data bindings like path, default, all these things are possible in all the cases, but customized data bindings like formatters, data types, factory approach, all these things are possible in the JavaScript view, but the rest of the cases it's not possible. Rest of the cases it's not possible. Okay, so the next thing is that embedded HTML. Embedded HTML. So in bracket, without HTML control. So let's say embedded HTML. What is the meaning of embedded HTML? You have a body and you want to embed some HTML inside this. If at all you are using JavaScript view, then that is not possible. But rest of the cases, embedded HTML with XML it's possible. With JavaScript view, it is not possible. With JSON view, no. And with HTML view also, no. So therefore, embedded HTML is possible with the help of XML views. In other cases, it's not possible. Next thing is that we talked about yesterday. So dynamic control creation. Okay, so in bracket based on model data. Dynamic control creation. So where it is possible? It's possible in the JavaScript view only. In other cases, it's not possible. In other cases, it's not possible. Okay. So next thing is that code completion. What is the meaning of code completion? So yesterday I explained code completion also. If you look at here, go to the JSON view or JavaScript view. Where is that? SAP UI5 views. Yes. Go here. Let's open the some view. Let me open a JavaScript view. Yeah, this is a JavaScript view. This is a JavaScript view, and let's say I type something. Look at here. Com dot not com. It's a SAP dot. See, look at here. There is a code completion. So if I type like this, my code is completed. This kind of code completion is possible with the JavaScript view and XML view. But in the HTML and all, we don't have. If you go to the JSON view, you don't have such features. How do you do? Let's say SAP dot. If you press control space, you will not get anything. Okay. So therefore, code completion in Eclipse. ECLIPSE. These are some fantastic conclusions I can say. Okay. So yes. So in the XML case, yes, possible, but with limitations. Limitation is there. With some limitation. So here it's not possible. Here it's not possible. So that's about the code completion. Next, so templating. If you look at here, let me roll back this one. Okay. So if you want to create some kind of templating, so that's possible with the help of JavaScript view. So other cases it's not possible. Templates. In the Eclipse cases, it's possible here, it's not possible here, it's not possible here, it's not possible here. Then the final is validations. Validations. Okay, so that's all about. Now let me remove this one. Validation is possible in most of the cases with the JavaScript. So client-side validation we can able to do. That's it about. Okay, so let me explain on a high level what is covered here. If you look at here, so yesterday we discussed some of the steps. Now I would like to cover what exactly we can able to do. I have taken different concepts like custom libraries. Okay, then properties, basic properties, aggregations, associations, single event listener, simple data bindings. These concepts are possible in all the views. These concepts are possible in all the views, whether it is JavaScript view, JSON view, XML view, or HTML view. Then coming to here, like simple types, there are complex types, or like simple properties, there are complex properties. Example is object. So object kind of things are possible in the JavaScript only. In other cases, it's not possible. Then self-contained registration of custom library. What does that mean? You have SAP.yum. The same way you want to have something else, it's not possible. It's possible in the JavaScript case. In other cases, it's not possible. The same way multi-event listener without scope. It's possible here. It's not possible in other cases. Okay, custom data bindings like formatters. What is the meaning of custom data bindings? I just given the examples. Formatters, data bindings. If someone is asking a question, what are the custom data bindings? The answer is what? Formatters, data types, factory approach. What are the simple data bindings? Path, default, okay, named models, template approach, so on, so on, so. Everything you need to visualize as a question. Okay, then dynamic control creation. Here it is a possible, blah, blah, blah. Now let me move this one to ending so that it will be easy for us. Copy. Now I can take it over this one so that you have similar properties in the top. Okay, so then there is one more thing which, yeah, this one. Let me move to end. Now I can take it out this one here. So that if at all you want to remember this, see, the basic goal is why I am spending this much of time is, okay, I know personally the value of this explanation. Because whenever you go for the interview, what are the types? What are the view types? They'll ask. Then they'll ask, can you explain a bit more? Now you can talk a lot. I have given more than 10 minutes of data for you. You can say that, okay, these are all possible in all the views, these are all possible here, these are all not possible here. So now it depends upon you, whether you want to select which one, that, this and all, that's it. Okay, that's all. Okay, so that's all about. Now let's come back. Srikanth, you time?
Yes, Chandra.
Yeah. So there is something called people says. I'm just giving this example because people says whenever you say what is the availability of your server, whenever top management asks, let's say you have a SAP server, you have BW server, BA server, Amazon server, that server, this server and all. Whenever someone asks a question, what is your server availability? Let's say yahoo.com. What is the server availability? People says 99.99 is the availability. 99.99 is the availability. Is this excellent or good or okay? So look at this one. What I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to explain the meaning of accuracy. See, if you see, you hear this word most of the cases. Once you deploy something, they'll ask, what is your server availability? Then your manager says, what? Hey, my server is available 99.99 times. 99.99%. Is this excellent, good, or okay, or bad? How many people says yes, no? Guys, just wake up. Venu, is this good, bad, something? It's good. Okay. Keshav? It is excellent. Okay. See, now you are saying 99.99% availability, right? Okay. Now, so how many days we have for the year? 365 days. In the year, 365 days, each day 24 hours. Okay, each hour 60 minutes into each minute 60 seconds. Okay, this is what this. Okay, how do I calculate? Let me calculate this way. 99.99% means 0.999. So into, so 365 days into each day 24 hours, 60 minutes, 60 seconds. Okay, so now I forgot this calculation. Something, how do I do? 99.99% availability. Then okay, that's what the problem. That's what I'm trying to explain. So no one asked that question. That is a problem. If we see the availability 99.99%, people says what? For the year. It's not for the day. They says okay, or they says my it's a per day. Even per day also they will say 99. So every day 99%, 99.99% availability. Every day 99.99% availability is also worst. If you calculate into seconds and all, it comes almost 2 days unavailability. So what is pending? 0.11, right? Or 0.01 into 365 days into 24 hours into 60 into 60. So this is in the seconds. So therefore now convert into days. By 60 by 24. Yeah, if you look at here, so even if you say my server availability is 99.99%, still it is not good, because of the reason is your server is not available for a year 3 days or 3.5 days. So what is the conclusion of this one? Even if you say I am joining the class 1 minute late, now convert like this, then you will know the value. Okay, I hope it reach you. It's not only for any specific, I'm trying to explain the reality. Okay. So whenever someone says, okay, my server availability is 99.99%, say that, okay, hey, dummy, your server is worst. Okay, server should not be 99.99%. It should be 100%. So assume that Amazon Web Server is available 99.99%. As per my calculation, it's not available for 3.5 days. And in the year, if Amazon server is not available for 3.5 days, now you can visualize the loss. It's very difficult. That's a very bad server. It's not good server or excellent server. Okay, that's fine. Let's come back. Okay, now let's come back. Yesterday we have seen something like this, right? Okay. UI5 controls, hook methods, all these things we have seen. Okay, so let me open one view or controller. So I would like to cover one more point, theoretical point only. So what's happening exactly inside? Let me open the explanation. Whatever I did is not specific. Please remember this. I try to want to explain the value of the server availability. It's not specific to anything. Okay. Don't think me wrong. Okay, fine. Now if you look at here, let's go to the view. This is what you specified, right? So forget about what is this button at all. So this button is our specific. So this is the default code came. This is the default code came. So that means your view is having a controller name. Your view is having a controller name. Then what is happening? Whenever you run this program, okay, whenever you run this program, it checks you have already defined controller like this. Please remember this, because the question is something like this. I'll tell the question like after some time, but try to understand. Whenever you run this program, it checks you have something already defined with this. With this means what? The XML view in the current project or in the current application. If yes, it will not load. If yes, it will not load. If no, okay, if no, that means it's not already defined. Okay, then UI5 tries to load the definition of this one. The definition of this one, or let me put it this way. So you are specifying something like this, right? So controller name is equal to blah blah blah. So when you specify something like this, okay, it checks if you already have defined the controller like this. Controller, this is the controller like this in your application source code. If yes, that's fine. And if no, that means assume that this is not available. Or if this is not already available. If not already available, then your UI5 tries to load this one from the resources. Your UI5 tries to load this one from the resources. That is what the meaning. So the meaning is, let's say you have a controller defined. If already available, when you run the program, it will not load again. If not available, then only it loads. The same way view case also. Let's take the view case. You are instantiating the view. If view is already available in the current application, that means you already instantiated. So it will not load. Loading is different. Creating the object is different. Okay, it will not load. It will just go and create the object. Loading means what? So bringing everything into the memory. Loading means what? Bringing everything into the memory. Now, once I have everything into the memory, giving the name to that is nothing but creating an instance. So this is how you need to visualize. Okay, so let's say I have this much of code. Assume that this is a view. I have this much of code. Okay, let's say I have this much of code. This much of code is there in the view. Now, this has to be loaded into the memory, then only your RAM can understand. Secondary memory data cannot be understood by the RAM directly. I hope you know well. You have two types of memories, primary memory and secondary memory. Whether it is a Java, .NET, whatever it may be, your program has to be loaded into the primary memory. Then only your RAM or your processor can understand the data and execute it. That means what? You need to load the data into the memory. You need to load the program into the memory. Now, once it is loaded into the memory, then it is going to take some place. And from that place, you need to access it. Then you are going to give some name for that. That's nothing but the instance. Okay, so therefore now coming to here, I am using this view first time, so therefore it will be loaded into the memory. And that memory is pointing from a variable called v1. Now if you are trying to load one more time, it will check, is this already available in the memory? If yes, it will not load. If no, then it will load. The same case for the controller also. So for view it is same, for controller also it is same. So it will try to see whether this particular step is already processed in your application. If yes, that's fine. If no, then it will try to load, or then it will try to process. So therefore, let me give this conclusion. The question is something like this. Okay. So I'm keep on adding. Don't confuse. Try to visualize more. Okay, fine. Now come back to here. Go to end. The question is file location logic. What is the file location logic? That's what the question is. What is the file location logic? Whatever I am trying to say, it's not only specific to certain languages, it will work in most of the languages. File location logic. Okay, so the controllers are views. Controllers and views. Controllers are views or and views. Okay, that's fine. Both. Controllers and views use the required or declare logic. So what is the meaning of this one? Controller or view use the required or declare logic. What is this meaning? There is a meaning for that. Try to understand. Controller or views. What is the file location logic? File location logic is like required or declare logic. What is this meaning? If required, then only it will load. If not, then not. That's what the meaning. If already available, it will not load. So that's why I'm trying to say controller and view uses required or declare logic. So if a controller is like below, so if a controller like below, below means, let me copy that one. Where is that? XML view. Control like this below. Maybe I can cut this one and put it here so that we will not miss anything. So this namespace and all, okay, if you want you can keep it, otherwise that's not a problem. SAP.ui.core something, then controller name. Controller okay, so if you look at here, so here also we have something called the controller name. That's fine. Where is it? Okay, then what happens? Okay, so it checks if you already have defined the controller like this in your processed application source. Process application, full stop. If not, then UI5 tries to load the definition from the default location default location. So what is the default location now? Can you tell me? What is the default location? Guys, wake up. I'm spending this much of time means it's not that just. So what is the default location? It checks if you already define this controller like this in your processed application. That means you are having some application. In that application, if this kind of controller is already processed or already defined, if yes, that's fine. If not, then UI5 tries to load the definition of that one, load the definition of that controller, from the default location. What is the default location? Can you tell me? What is the default location, guys? There, we already seen, right? What is the default location of the resources? Where are you there? Venu, Srikanth, Danu. What is the default location of the resources? Web content is a directory. Somewhat okay. When are you there? Yes, exactly. Resources, that is correct. So therefore, resources, if you look at here, this is what the resources location, right? Where the resources location? The resources location is the resources. Look at here. So therefore, resources slash, so what is the path? So this is the path, Chenna UI5 views. Under that you have something called what? You have something called what? You have something called XML, my XML view slash my XML view. That's what the meaning. It will try to load from the resources. So under resources, you have something called Chenna UI5 views. Under that, you have this XML. That's it. So that's what the meaning of that one. So this is applicable for the views as well as controllers. Okay, so that's why if you see here, controllers and views uses required logic. Required logic means if required, then it will declare. Otherwise, it's not. Declare or define. That's all about this one. Now coming back here, explain UI5 initialization and UI5 initialization and loading process, that is and all. Okay, so the first point here is that okay, so the first point here is that let me open the index.html. Let me open the index.html. Okay, let me open the index.html. If you look at here, I want to make, this is a simple HTML file. This is a simple HTML file. I want to make, or I want to write some kind of UI5 components here. If I want to write UI5 components, then I need to import the, or I need to make UI5 library available to my program. This is a simple HTML file, and I want to use some UI components here, UI5 components here. If I want to use some UI5 components, then I need to make UI5 library available to this program. If I want to make UI5 library available to my program, then you are going to use what? Bootstrap. So therefore, UI5 pages always have to start with Bootstrap to load what? To load UI5 runtime. This provides UI5 runtime. That means UI5 runtime libraries, your SAP.m, SAP.UI.core.button, SAP.m.button, SAP.m.textbox. These are core libraries, UI5 libraries. If you want to use that, your UI5 runtime has to be loaded into this resulted browser. Then only those components can be rendered. Hence we can able to use it. So therefore, what is the first point? Okay, UI5 Bootstrap, right? Or not this one. Okay. UI5, what is this? UI5 pages always have to start with Bootstrap, strap, Bootstrap to load the UI5 runtime. Okay, to load the UI5 runtime. Full stop. Okay. So therefore, Bootstrap, B-O-T-S-T-R-A-P, Bootstrap in our pages, initializes, in our page, initializes, I-N-I-T-I-A-L-I-Z-E, initializes UI5 runtime automatically when script is loaded and executed by the browser. So that means you have a script. When this script is loaded, who is going to execute automatically? Automatically, when script is loaded and executed, that time UI5 runtime is loaded. UI5 runtime is initialized, so that your UI5 runtime can be available. Okay. You can specify UI5 libraries and theme for your application in the configuration settings. Okay, so if you look at here, so here are the themes, that, these and all. Fine. So let me take this piece of code and put it there so that it's a reference for us. So there will be ID. You can use ID whatever you want. This is the script. Without Bootstrap, we can't use UI5. Yes. That's what we are going to discuss today. It's not. So we'll see. We'll see next few minutes what all we can use. It's not purely the Bootstrap. Whatever you have the technology. See, it's not purely Bootstrap. Whatever you have the technology. Okay. So it basically the Bootstrap, whatever we have here, is trying to help you to load the UI5 runtime into your program, into your application. That does not mean that, okay, you are having entire Bootstrap library here. Bootstrap library is different. So what exactly the Bootstrap is trying to help here? It is trying to help your UI5 library to load and also provide certain kind of responsiveness. That way it is going to help. That's why it is going to help. Okay. Now, so this is what the code, what we have. Now, the next point is, please try to understand the point one by one. Now, you are trying to load this script, right? Whenever you try to load this script, Srikanth, Venu, Dano, you guys are there? Say yes, no, A, B, C. I don't know whether you guys are listening or Shiva, are you there?
Yeah, we are.
Yes, we are here. Okay. So I just want to make sure that okay, people generally board when we are taking the. Okay, please go for mute. Okay. So what is happening? You are trying to load this library, right? Who is going to load? The browser. Okay, that's fine. Now, whenever this is loaded, a global object called SAP. These are some beautiful conclusions I can say. So global object called SAP and SAP.global are loaded or created. See this. Whenever you did this code, right? Where you have the code? You have the code in the index.html. So when you have this kind of code in the index.html, it loads the UI5 runtime library when you hit that program in the browser. When you hit that program in the browser. Let me run this. Wow. Some problem with my this one. Even yesterday also I was facing this. Okay, somebody is responded. Okay, so let me run this. Even in ABAP also you need to you have these kind of concepts. I don't know how much you understood from the ABAP, but ABAP internals are like this only. It may not be same terminologies, but it requires to load that, these and all. Fine. So let's come back. Let this program run. What I'm trying to say is that, So you have written some script here. Now you are running the program in the browser. Whenever you run the program, this script will be loaded. This script will be loaded. Now, while loading, the Bootstrap is trying to help you to load the UI5 runtime library. When UI5 runtime library is loaded, there are two objects created automatically. That objects are nothing but SAP.global. That is the reason you will be able to use SAP.UI.these and all. Okay. In the Java also same logic. In the Java also same logic. In so many places same logic. If you look at here, whatever may be the UI5 component, whatever may be the UI5 component, it starts with what? SAP. It starts with what? SAP. So that means there is some kind of core needs to be created. That core will be created with this script. So therefore, whenever you run this one, global object called SAP and SAP.global are created. Okay, runtime core classes in. So what is that? Bootstrap.js. Bootstrap strap.js are loaded. So I'll be extending the class for 3 to 4 hours. If someone is not able to continue because of your office hours and all, you can drop and maybe I can cover some other time. But I want to finish up this theory today. Then only we'll have good amount of progress. Else the progress is very less. Okay, now coming to here. So what I'm trying to say is that this object is going to create two global objects, These are global objects, global created, and runtime core classes in the Bootstrap are also loaded. What is the meaning of runtime core classes? What is the meaning of core classes? So I'll show you what are the meaning of core methods, core functions. What happens? Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, I can run this some other program because here we have some comments and all. Then there is a text reader. Okay, so just run this program, and there is a lot of subject here. I don't know how many classes we can cover, but let's try to understand as much as possible because there are a lot of concepts. That is the reason if someone asks how many classes you will be taking, all these things, it takes good amount of time. But the server widget is disposed. Okay, now let's see, look at here and try to deploy this one. Try to run this one and also go to the network. What happened? It's taking that much of time. Okay, inspect element, then go to the network. Okay, now let me run this again. Okay, look at here. There is something, see, look at here. So, what is the library you have in your program? You have sap.ui.core, but there are something else also loaded. Library.css. Then what else are loaded? Library.css. Library.properties also will be loaded sometimes. And library JS, it's not loaded here. Yeah, library JS is not loaded here. But Whenever it requires, it loads. So therefore, if you look at here, what is the Java, what is the file we are trying to load? sap.ui.core, but we also loaded something else also. So what is this meaning? We need to understand now. Okay, what is this meaning? Let's understand one by one. Okay, now go back. Okay, so therefore, so it the runtime core classes in bracket methods or functions in Bootstrap.js are loaded. Okay, so what is the meaning of this core classes or methods? We'll see after a few minutes. What are the different core classes, core methods will be loaded. Okay, now the question is, what are the additional resources runtime loads and interprets? So when you run this program or when you run this application, so by default it is going to load SAP UI5.js. Along with this, what else will be loaded? What else will be interpreted? What are the additional resources loaded and interpreted? So that's what we have seen. The first thing is what? Just now we have seen, right? The first one. What is the first one? If you look at here in this program, there is something called a library.css loaded. Okay. So therefore, along with this, there is something called library.css. It's loaded. So what it will provide for you? See, it is loaded in the runtime, right? It is loaded in the runtime. It is loaded in the runtime means it provides something, right? What it provides? It provides, or it contains the styles relevant for this library. So if you look at here, there is some kind of color is coming, that, these and all. These are all coming because of this CSS. So therefore, in the coding contains all the styles relevant for this library. It is auto generated during, when it is generated? During the build time. So what is the meaning of build? What is the meaning of build? I no need to explain, right? So you are writing the program. Once you write the program, you are going to compile it. Once you compile it, you need to build it, then deploy it. So you are going to write the program. That's called the source code. So you are going to compile it. After compilation, you need to build it, then deploy it. While building the project, while you are build the project, then this file will be added automatically. It is auto generated during build. So you are not going to take care of anything. That's the reason I am trying to highlight here. So the one, whatever I am trying to explain now, that's why what are the additional resources loaded at runtime and interpreted. So these are additional resources loaded. So you are not going to write any logic for this. So the second one is library. There is something called a library.js. We'll see this one because I can show you in some other examples. This also loads, but in the current program that is not required. That's why not loaded. Might be. So what this will do? This also loaded library.js. It contains Java code for all enum types provided by library. So that means what? Let's say you are using some enums. Yesterday we have used some constants, right? In which example we use some constants? Can you tell me? In which example we use some constants? You guys there? What is the enum? Enumeration data type. You know what is the enum, right? Enumeration data type. So if you don't know what is enum and all, okay, I don't know, because I need to go back to Java again. Okay, fine. So if you have such kind of stuff used in your program, then this will provide meaning for those. So therefore, contains JavaScript code for all enum types provided by the library. Again, it is auto generated during build. Next, third one is what? So the third one is library.properties file. Library.properties file. Properties. Spelling is wrong. Library.properties file. So what this contains? So this contains a list of controls basically and enum times. Okay, contains properties files. Contains list of controls and enum types. This file it is again auto generated during the build. Okay, so these are the additional resources loaded. So the question is, so along with your SAP UI code, what else will be loaded? So these are all will be loaded. So it depends upon the situation. Library.js, library.css, library.properties. So each one will have its own meaning. Okay, now come back here. That's fine. Now, okay. Now if you look at here, so in the script tag you are specifying some attributes, right? So what are the attributes? Data, UI, hyperlink, library, something and all. So you specified libs, you specified theme. You can also specify language, runtime, all these things. If you look at here, you can also specify so many parameters. Yeah, already theme UI is there. You can also specify something like data hyphen SAP hyphen UI hyphen. You want to specify the language, then you can specify the language. Like there are plenty of the parameters are there. It's not only one parameter, language. Then you can also specify data hyphen SAP hyphen UI hyphen. Then you can also specify RTL. Then you can also specify so many parameters. If you look at here, these are all we will see coming days one by one. I don't know how many we can cover, but at least we can cover a few more. So data hyphen SAP hyphen UI hyphen. That's it. And look at this. You might have been seen in the UI5, right? There are so many things. The controls. I'll not cover all the controls, but I'll tell you how to execute from the certain places, so that you need to put. Look at here. There is a preload. There is a cache buster, app cache buster. Like so many are there. Okay. So if you look at here, what is this? SAP.UI.core configuration. This is not required. So the basic point is that, so you can specify not only these parameters, we can also specify some other parameters. That's the goal. Okay. So what is the note here? Note. Okay. The attributes attributes in or attributes of script tag are evaluated and used to configure the runtime. That means the meaning is found at the runtime. That's what the basic meaning is. Fine. So what are the attributes? Like you have data hyphen SAP hyphen UI hyphen libs. So that is used for the libs. Then data hyphen SAP hyphen UI hyphen theme, THEME theme. Okay, then you have something called what? Language, LANGUAGE, language. Then you have something called RTL. Then you have something called just now we have seen some stuffs, right? What is that? Cache buster, right? Async, preload. Oh, not here in the documentation. Preload. Okay, then we have something called app cache buster, app CACHE BUSTER. Like that, so many are there attributes. It's not just one, only two attributes. You can just remember that there are so many attributes. That's it. Okay, so that's fine. Now, one more thing is that look at here. Okay, let's try to understand this point. Let's see if that works. Gold reflection, right? Now, I'm not using this property. Please look at here. I'm not using this property. It's not there. Now, let me go and run this. Let me go and run this. Let me close this one. Now, let me refresh. What happened? Somehow I close everything. http://localhost textreader.index.html. Okay, so let me do force refresh. Now look at this one. I don't have the what is this? Let me go to the program. I don't have the theme right now. I don't have the theme right now. So that's the theme is not applied. And theme is not applied. I have some keyboard issue, please tell me. Okay. Then so the problem is, looks it is cache. And is for what? When you are going to use and, you are going to use if you want to specify one more parameter. Okay, so okay, URL params, URL parameters. Or query string, you can say query string. Yeah, look at here. And you are going to use when you have more than one. But I don't have more than one. Just because it's going to distract it. So just be care or just pay attention while just typing something. Okay, now what I'm trying to say is that somehow it is cached and it is not coming on. But the conclusion is so here you are defining the attributes, right? Instead of you define the attribute here, you can also pass in the URL. Somehow we are not able to show here, but when we see dynamic URL construction and all, yes, this is a possible. Okay, yes, this is a possible. Okay, so I don't know, something is not coming on, but so programmatically we were able to do. That's fine. So we'll see in the coming days through programmatically dynamic construction of the URL. So the conclusion is, so you are specifying some attribute test. So you maybe or you can also add this as a URL. So that's the conclusion. So the conclusion is where we have this one, right? Stop. The next thing is that instead of putting attributes in the script tag, you can also add it as URL parameters. But we'll see that one in the anyway. We'll have something like dynamic construction of URLs and all add as a URL parameter. That's fine. So that's about this one. So the next thing is that I got some predefined functions also, right? Before that, let's understand one more thing. So in this script, you are using what? SAP UI core.js. Can we use something else? Yes, you can also use something else. Look at here. In the script, you have resources, right? After resources, to get the runtime library, you are using SAP UI core. SAP UI core. Instead of SAP UI core, what else I can use? And what I am going to get if I use SAP UI core, and what I am going to get if I use something else. That's what the meaning is. Okay. So now the question is something like this. It's not a question. Explain bootstrapping. Something. Okay. Explain bootstrapping. If I keep on typing, then it's difficult to read a later point of time. That's why I'm just putting like a heading and all. Okay. So explain bootstrapping. UI5 provides several bootstrappings. Bootstrap files. BOOT. Yes. STROP. BOOTST. Bootstrap, right? Yeah. UI5 provides several Bootstrap files to support different use cases of bootstrapping. So now let's what are those? The first one is whatever we have. What is the first one we have right now? SAP-UI-core.js. This is the first one. This is the first one, right? SAP-core, this one. So what it is doing? So whenever you use that one, SAP UI-core.this and all, if at all you are using, then what else you will be getting? It is a standard Bootstrap variant. It contains jQuery also. So if at all you are using this one, you will get the jQuery features also. That's why in the first example, we were creating something like that, this and all. Do you remember? I said using jQuery also we can do this one and all. In the first day example, I explained something on the jQuery. Because of the reason is, if at all you are using this one, it also loads the jQuery functionalities. Okay, the first thing is that it is a standard variant. It is a standard variant. It contains jQuery and jQuery UI positions. You have CSS positions, right? What are the CSS positions? Can anyone recollect it? I want the answer from Danu. What are CSS3 positions? Danu. What are the CSS3 positions? Danu, you there? We spend good amount of time. Danu, you there? Yes or no?
Yes.
You are typing in the Google? Sorry? Are you typing in the Google? No. Then where is the answer? I see your keyboard. Okay. No. So whenever people get asked type
Sorry?
Google, Sunil, what are the CSS3 positions? I know you type in the Google.
No, I don't remember.
You have to remember there is no other option. Okay, fine. You can go for mute, please. Okay. So in the CSS, please go for mute. Okay. So in the CSS3 we have something called what? Static, fixed, absolute, relative, inherit, something and all. So there are five positions. The same way, jQuery also provides the positions. That also will be available if at all you are using this. So therefore, if you are using this, you will be getting the UI5 features, jQuery UI positions also. Okay, that's it. So therefore, so what is the conclusion? Okay, it is a standard. Please start remembering the steps, please. Otherwise, it's not going to help. Okay, see, for your purpose only. Finally, if you get job, I know most of them are having the job. Job is not a matter, but we are spending a lot of time here, so you should be getting the job in the UI5. So it is a standard variant, VARIANT, for bootstrapping. Anyway, it is a standard variant. I already specified the bootstrap, right? What do I need to use? It is a standard variant. Okay, it contains jQuery, QUERY, jQuery, QUERY, jQuery UI positions, jQuery UI positions, and required parts of UI5 core library. Required parts of UI5 core library. So in bracket, SAP library, sap.ui.core. So we'll understand some of these things. And remember that required files, if at all you are using, required files loaded dynamically using XML HTTP request. People call it as XHR. If you don't know what is the meaning of XHR, all these things, I don't know. Okay, so try to spend some time. It's like a HTTP request. We have something called XML HTTP request. People call it as XHR, XML HTTP request. So the required files loaded dynamically using XHR, XML HTTP request. That's it. Then what else? The second one is you can also have SAPUI-core-node. By looking at that name, you can understand the meaning. See, in the previous one, what happened? It contains jQuery, it contains UI5, jQuery positions. But now you are saying what? SAP UI5 core, no jQuery.js. Now, by looking at this name, that means you can also this one here. That's what the meaning is. You can also use this one here. That's what the meaning is. So if at all you are using this one, then what happens? By looking at the name, what do you understand? by looking at the name, what you understand? It will not contain the jQuery. That's it. Okay, so it is a Bootstrap variant. It is a variant and all. So I don't want to specify all the time. So it is a variant. It is a standard variant. That variant and all. So it will not have jQuery and UI-position. We stop. Okay, so that's it. So if you don't want jQuery and all in your program, let's say you are developing an application and you are sure that you don't want to use jQuery, then better you go for it. Because unnecessarily you are loading the jQuery library, right? See, if you use the previous one, unnecessarily you are loading the jQuery library. So if you, in your entire application, sure that you are not going to use or you don't want to use jQuery, then go for this one. Then go for this one. That's what the meaning is. Okay. So therefore, okay, it contains required parts of UI5 core library. Please stop. Use this file for applications with your own jQuery. That means if you want to write your own jQuery libraries, all these things, you can create your own jQuery functions. That's what the meaning is. So if you want to have your own jQuery, then go for the second one. And even if you don't want any jQuery, then go for the second one. That's what the meaning is. Then there is something called SAPUI-core-all.js. SAP-UI-core-all.js. What is this meaning? What is the meaning of all? It loads everything. By looking at the name, you can understand. If you see here, the first one is what? Blah, blah, blah. Second one is what? No jQuery. You can understand. Now I am saying all. That means what? It contains everything. So in the programming, don't use this one because it loads a lot of stuff. It is not good practice to use all. In the real time also, it's not good practice all. So therefore, all in one. So by seeing the name itself, you can understand it contains all. So it is similar to SAP-UI-core, SAP-UI-core, or what it contains. Let me put it. It contains all resources of SAP.UI.core library. Okay, so it contains all the resources. Next, so *all.js, that means what? Asterisk means this one. *all.js also loads all other libraries. That is the problem. Or it loads. Let me put it as it loads. Why do I need to use asterisk? It loads all other libraries also. It's not good practice to use such kind of programming. So whether required or not required, it loads. Oh, okay, sorry. If I put all, yeah, it in bracket *all.js. Yeah, now it looks more sense. Okay, so it loads all other libraries also. So better try to avoid the third one. First one you know when to use, second one you know when to use, third one also you know when to use. The fourth one. So this is nothing but you already seen this one. There is something called library-preloaded.js. So if you look at here, network, yeah, library hyphen there, preloaded.js. Is it JSON? JS is not there, that's fine. Okay, maybe we can see those things. You can try to monitor those files and all. So based on the situation, it will come. Let me tell you the situation. Before that, let me tell you SAPUI5.js. There is one more thing. SAPUI5.js. There is one more thing. Okay, it contains all JavaScript modules. It contains all JavaScript. Wherever I am using JS means JavaScript. Modules from where? SAP.UI.core, SAP.UI.commons. It contains everything. Commons, SAP.UI.tables, TABLES, tables, table, and SAP.UI.ux3. These are all we'll see in coming days, libraries. Okay, full stop. Next, if we use this, then we need if you look at here, okay, now if you look at here, if at all you are using SAP UI.js, that means let's say instead of this, let's say you are using this SAP UI.js, then what happens? So whenever you load this one, it contains all the modules from the core, commons, all these things. The problem is, if at all you are using this, so as it is having multiple libraries, it's going to take loading time more. So the conclusion is, it takes more loading time. So that's the problem. So generally don't use the first one. Always the first one, whatever we give, that is the best one. Okay, so there are something else which we are not using at all. So I just give the list. It is up to your wish whether you want to remember it or not. SAP UI5 UI-core-lean.js. This is not used much, and maybe removed in future. It does not have much significance. Maybe initially there might be developed. Okay, there is something called okay. So then there is one more thing called okay. There is one more thing called the sixth one. This is the important one. Let's see. SAP. Let me just look at the documentation for that. Just give me a sec. Let me close this. SAP-UI-core-preloaded.js. Just give me a sec. I just want to see some help on that. So these are all what I am trying to explain. Bootstrapping resources, I can say. Bootstrapping resources. That's the best. Explain bootstrapping resources. Explain bootstrapping resources. That is the best explanation. This is what I am trying to explain. So first one, second one, third one, blah blah blah. This is what I am trying to see. Bootstrapping is similar to this one. Okay. Okay. So if you look at here, yeah, the purpose of this one, yeah, got it. The purpose of this one is it's more similar to your, okay, so you can also use this one. This is similar to your core. That means this is similar to this first one. But the thing is that the functions or libraries will not load by default by the browser. Whenever you are using that time only it will load. That means it's like an on-demand load. So it is similar to SAP-UI- it is similar to SAP-UI-core all.js. So it is similar to this one, but it is similar to that one, but modules are parsed and executed executed only on demand. That is the one good thing in that. In bracket, not immediately. Okay. Now let me give the conclusion. So if you look at here, this particular thing, this particular thing is similar to this. What is happening here? It loads all the libraries. Now it also loads all the libraries, but on demand. That means if at all you are using something, then only it will load. Otherwise it will not load. That is the advantage of this one. Now it's your wish which one you want to use. Now it's your wish which one you want to use. Okay. So based on your situation you will be using, but most of the people will use the first one only. This one, SAP UI4. But just remember that if someone asks what are the different bootstrapping resources, you need to tell SAP UI resources, and you need to understand the meaning also. What all it will give. It will give UI5 libraries plus jQuery plus jQuery positions. Okay, then no jQuery. It will not give jQuery. All. It will give everything. The problem is it loads everything in the beginning. That's why you have something called the sixth one. So the sixth one is similar to third one, but it will load the libraries on the demand, not immediately. Then we have SAP UI Java JS. That's an outdated one. So that is also, as it is having more libraries, no one is going to use that one because it's going to take more loading time. The next one is lean. So the name itself says lean. So that's why it is not used much. And future there is a plan to remove that. That's about that one. The next one is initialization process. Explain initialization process. So that means what all happen when it is initializing. Okay, initialization, INITIA. Initialization. So explain initialization process. So what is the meaning of initialization? Let's say what is the difference between, let's say I am writing int x. Now int y is equal to 10. What is the difference between this one and this one? Don't say here I am not assigning the value, here I am assigning the value. So people say that kind of answers only. What is the difference between this one and this one?
Int x is a defining a variable without any value. Int y is a constant.
So this is called what and this is called what?
Int y is constant value.
No, you can change later point of time also, right? I can change in the coding later point of time to 20. It's not constant. It's not constant. I can change the value later point of time also. And as we are discussing the numbers, right? I would like to tell one thing. I like this one a lot.
Okay.
You can also try this programming. So there is 13 by 65. What is the answer? 13 by 65. Oh, sorry. As we are 100. 65.
35, 65, 100 only.
13 by 65, 100. How come?
13 by 65. Okay.
Sorry.
That is the
So,
13.
as we are discussing number, I just want to make you guys to somewhat come out from that and just relax for some time. 13 by 65. What is the answer? There is some beautiful logic in this. Let me put it in the notepad. I like this coding a lot. But these are all possible in the C language. Here also it is possible. 13 by 65. What is the answer? Sorry, 26 by 65. What is the answer?
65.
Yeah. So if you look at here, 13 2s are 13 5s are
2.5.
not 2.5. Don't say like that. I want to build one logic here. So 13 2s are 13 5s are. Okay. The point here is that even though you cancel this is 6, this is 6, then you will get 2 by 5. These kind of numbers are there only 4, or not 4, 5. Already I told 1. Then another 4 numbers are there. You write a logic to find out this kind of numbers. You got it right. When you give this problem to kids, what they will do, they will cancel this 6, and they will say 2 by 5 is the answer. Yes, that is correct. But actually it is 13 2s are 13 5s are. It's nothing but 2 by 5. But even though you cancel 6, still you will get 2 by 5. Now you write a program to find out what are the other numbers like this. There are another 4 numbers like this which behaves like this. It's not the easy behavior, or it's a rare behavior. You can write a logic to find out this kind of numbers. Okay, fine. Let me come back. Okay, fine. Let me come back. So the same way, now coming to here, so I am writing int x is equal to 10, int x and int y is equal to 10. Okay, let me remove this also. Can you go for mute, please? Okay, thank you. So int x and int y is equal to 10. So this is called declaration. This is called declaration, and this is called initialization. So what is the difference between declaration and initialization? Initialization means you are having a value to that. Declaration is it is a dummy. So therefore, now coming to here, so I am trying to explain the initialization process. That means when there is a reality for your program, what all happens? What are all the steps? Okay. So I'll just keep on go on type. If you do not understand, then you can ask me, because it's going to take good amount of time. During the initialization of UI5 runtime, below steps are executed. So the first one, during the initialization of UI5 runtime. Now you know what the meaning of initialization. I just given this example. So this is called initialization. That means there is a value assigned to that everything. There is a meaning assigned to everything. During the initialization of UI5 runtime, below steps are executed. The first one is what? jQuery plugins. 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 Okay, located in jQuery.sap namespace. So jQuery plugins are available in this namespace. Okay, namespace. So the first one is jQuery plugins. jQuery plugins located in this provides fundamental functionalities of UI5. Okay, such as modularization concepts, comma, logging framework, LOGGING, FRAME framework, comma, performance measurement, and so on. Okay, and so on. The second thing, what is this meaning? During initialization process, there are some steps happens in the background. During the initialization process, there are some steps happens in the background. What is the first step? What is the first step? You have jQuery plugins, right? If at all you are using this one, look at here. If at all you are using this one, there are some jQuery plugins. That's what the meaning. Let's say if at all you are using SAP UI4, no jQuery, then first step will not happen. That's what the meaning. It's not just jQuery. Okay, try to understand. There is a lot of meaning here. If at all you are using no jQuery, it does not mean that okay, it is not going to load your jQuery libraries. This step will not happen. That means your modularization is not possible. Your logging framework is not possible. Your performance measurements are not possible. All these things. That is the reason most of the people uses this one. Most of the people use this one because of the reason is the jQuery plugin is also required to provide modularization, to provide logging framework, to provide certain kind of performance measurements, and so on, so on. So what is the first step? So the first step is jQuery plugin located in this namespace provides fundamental functionality of UI5 such as modularization. In the UI5, modularization is done because of this and logging framework. Most of the Java guys or whatever may be the guy, even in ABAP also we have logging framework. Performance measures, all these things happens because of these jQuery plugins. Okay, that's the first step. Okay, next, second one is if not already available. If not already available, then the global 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 object. What is the global object? What is the global object? SAP is created. This is the second step. These are some beautiful understandings. The first thing, whenever initialization, that means you are trying to run the program. When you try to run the program, it is going to be loaded and initialized. First loading, then initialization. See, whenever you are running the program, http:// something, local has something. So it is going to load and then initialize. That's what, even if you see the title of the blue color one, so UI5 initialization, loading and initialization. Let me change. Loading and initialization concepts. Okay, maybe I have something fine. So whatever we discussed, those are called loading concepts. Now we are discussing the initialization concept. What are all the different things happens while initialization of your application? So the first thing I explained. The second thing is that so we have seen here there will be some P is the global object. So therefore that object is created if already available. If already available, then it will not be created. What does that mean? So let's say I hit this one. Now there is no object will be created. I hit one more time. Object is already available. That's why it will not create. Okay. Next, third one. So what are all the different things happens in the initialization process? You can tell on the fly. First one, dot this and all. Second UI5 dot this and all. Next, third one is UI5 dot core classes is executed. Core class is executed. executed executed with all its dependencies. Executed with all its dependencies. So what is the core class functionalities or functions? We'll see after a few minutes. So that's the third one. Then fourth one is runtime configurations. Configuration is determined from different sources. What does it mean? So the fourth step is what? See, after first three steps happens, then your web.xml starts. That's what the meaning is. Now it will start the web.xml. Here are the runtime configurations. So here it specifies what is my servlet, where I can get the resources, where I can get this one, whether resources can be cached or not, whether dev mode is enabled or not, filters are there or not, and what is the proxy, what is the welcome file list. Now it started. That is what the meaning of fourth step. That is what the meaning of fourth step. That is what the meaning of fourth step. So runtime configuration is determined from the different sources. Then the fifth step is all libraries. Now look at here. All libraries and modules. All libraries and modules declared in the configuration. All libraries and modules declared in the configuration. In bracket, declared in the configuration. Dependencies, if any. Also dependencies, if any, are loaded now. Loaded. That's what the meaning. So now if you look at here, what is the first step? Now it will go to the web.xml. In the web.xml, it finds where I have the resources, this and all. I find the resources, obviously what happens? The resources has to be loaded. That's what the meaning. All libraries and declared in the configuration. If any dependencies, the dependencies also will be loaded. Are loaded. So that's what the fifth step is. Now sixth step is what? For each loaded library, the style sheet also loaded. Style sheet of the configuration, configured theme is theme. Theme is added to the. Now your styles are added. That's what the meaning. So in the sixth step, the styles are loaded and applied. Okay. So for each loaded library, the style sheet of the configured theme. So that means what? If at all you have a gold reflection, then you have a gold reflection. If at all have a SAP blue crystal, those style sheets configured here, those will be loaded and applied to the page. Now, the seventh step. When all libraries loaded and document is ready. That's what the point. Document is ready. When all libraries are loaded, document is ready, comma. When all libraries are loaded and document is ready, then init event is filed and all registered handlers executed. That's what the meaning. So these things will happen in the background. So I am just repeating again. You are hitting the URL here. Once you hit the URL, it loads the application and start the initialization process. In the initialization process, what is the first thing happens? The first thing is that there is something, if at all you are using that SAP-UI- this kind of script, core.js. So there is something called jQuery plugins. It is going to set the framework, certain framework pages, like a login framework page, modularization concepts, and performance measures, all these things. Then SAP global object is created. Then some core classes are executed. Then it reads the web.xml. Then it reads the web.xml. From the web.xml, it identifies what are the files, the RDs and all. So therefore, all libraries declared there are loaded. Then once it is loaded, so let's say it identifies this is a file, that is a file and all. Then those are loaded. Once those are loaded, obviously you need to apply the styles. So therefore, in the sixth step, it is going to apply the styles. Once style is applied, all these things, then there is an event is fired. When styles are applied, the document is ready. So if you look at here, this entire thing is what? Document. That is the reason we are specifying. That is the reason we are specifying in index.html doc type. So whatever you have, that entire thing is a document. Document is, don't think that Word document. Again, if you think that a Word document, again a pain to me. So the result is document. So the document is ready. Once the document is ready, once the themes are applied, the document is ready, then init event is fired. Init event is fired. When all libraries are loaded and document is ready, then init event is fired and registered all the handlers. That means if at all there are handlers, like let's say I click on this one, something is happening, right? That means this is open. That means the handlers are registered now. What is the meaning of handler registration? I have some UI elements. I have some buttons. When I click on the button, something is happening. When I click on this, something is happening. That means the events has to be registered. That event registration happens finally and displays this one. That's what the initialization process steps. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Any questions? Okay, fine. Now come back. You want 5 minutes break? You want 5 minutes break? What?
Yes.
What does it mean? I said I am going to cover 3.5 hours, right? If it is, I know you are coming from EST, so if it is getting late, please go and sleep. Keshav, and if at all you don't, I mean the others from India, if your office is, if you have office working, then go for the office. If you are able to manage, then that's fine.
I asked a question, not about hours.
Oh, okay. What is the question? I see only question mark. That question mark pops when I am explaining. Do you want the break?
No,
so
I typed the question, then question mark, you didn't answer it again. So if we go to the network, the one that you are showing the libraries that are loading behind the scenes.
Let me go to your question.
You are showing the libraries in the network tab, right, on the browser?
Hold on a second, please. Okay, this is what the question. In network, why are we seeing 3 times the library? Oh, where is that?
You go to the browser, that network.
Maybe people are coming from different places. You can have a.txt, I can have a.txt, but a.txt, what you have is different, what I have is different. Same example, button is there in the sap.yum, button is there in sap.ui.core also. That's what the meaning. Okay, let's see what are you looking for.
That library.css, I think.
Yeah, look at here.
Expand
so it's coming from. Okay, what is your question now? Tell me.
whatever those library.css 3 times, right? If you see that initiator, all of them are.
That's what I'm trying to show. Okay, so let's take the library preloaded. 3 times is there. So the first one is coming from where? Modularization, modules, SAP something. Okay, the second one is.
Where are you seeing modules? Oh.
This one, defined in. The third one is also same.
No, put it. You've shown twice the same thing. Put the third one.
If you look at here, there are different meanings for this. So this is coming from somewhere else, extended instructor or something. Then this is coming from somewhere else. But it is having, if you look at the overall meaning, it's having something different. And if you look at this one, it is again different. It has something send, that, these and all.
So they are actually coming from different packages then? Different libraries?
It's not different packages. I see, look at the package defined in here. But I don't think so. These are coming from the different packages. Maybe it's loading different functions from this. Let's look at the package. So this is this one. Then second one is.
I think they are same, seems like.
Same, but you look at the overall pop-up. Look at here. So it's having something different, the meaning. Okay, now look at here. It's having something different. If you look at here, it's having something different. You can look at the overall pop-up. Okay, so that means there is some internal meaning provided each and every time. Maybe that's the reason it is doing like that. So this is what I talked about, XHR, XML HTTP request. So these are all loaded with the XHR, XML HTTP request. If you look at here, this library also loaded something, but the overall pop-up meaning is different. It's saying something, so on, so on, so on. But good question. You can also, it's not, it's okay. But if you want to try to explore more on that, better you also spend the time. Okay. Fine. Now come back.
You can take break.
Okay, 5 minutes. Now it is 9:02. Let's meet at 9:07. Okay, let's go ahead and start. I'm just giving one more function. Till now we have seen it's loading automatically, right? The libraries and all. If you look at here, whenever there is an initialization process, the libraries and all loaded automatically. But I want to load whenever I want. So I want to load whenever I want. Then how to load libraries dynamically? How to load libraries dynamically? That is the question. The answer is, if you want to load the libraries dynamically, then you will be using sap.ui.getCore.loadLibrary. This is the method. Okay, please see this. In this entire process, the libraries, methods, functions loaded automatically. You don't want to load automatically, and you want to load whenever you want. So therefore, how to load libraries dynamically? If you want to load dynamically, how to load the libraries dynamically, then you are going to use sap.ui.getCore.getLibrary. Sorry, getCore.loadLibrary. Okay. So the next thing is that explain configurations of UI5 runtime. So this is a vast concept. I'll just cover on a high level. The main goal is, in your project, if you have something, such kind of requirement, you need to think, yes, oh, there is some option for this. Then you can go and look the help. I'm repeating this again. Configuration of UI5 runtime is a vast concept. The main goal here is that, let's say you have some requirement called language change. And if you know that, okay, oh, there is some option in the configuration, then you can go and Google it, right? That is the goal here. I'm going to tell what are the different runtime configurations, how to do all these things. Whenever there is a requirement, go and Google it and find it out. Because if you want me to teach all those things, it's definitely more than 5 days, I mean, more than 6 hours class. Or definitely it is 6 hours class. So the goal is, I'm going to just specify what are the different configuration settings available. And keep in mind that, okay, whenever there is a requirement, yes, I want to handle the cachings. Then you can just recollect, oh, there is some concept available in the configuration settings in the runtime for the caching. And now you can Google it and find out what are the steps, how to do all these things and implement it in your project. That's the goal. See, certain cases, it's good to spend the time. Certain cases, it's good to know that. Okay, fine. Okay, following are the following configuration settings or below configuration settings are provided by UI5 runtime. Okay, below configuration settings are provided by UI5 runtime. First thing is runtime default values. What are the runtime default values? So it's like a accessibility. Okay, debugging. Let's see how many people are there. Sunil left. Okay, fine. That's the time for them to go office. It's fine. Okay, runtime default values. What are the runtime default values? So the first one is accessibility. Okay, debugging, language change, language, libs, log levels. Okay, modules, comma, theme, comma, trace, comma, and so on. So therefore, these settings you can do. If you want to change the accessibility levels, then you can do. Debugging levels, yes, you can do. Languages, yes. Library changes, log levels. Okay, so if you want to change the modules, themes, tracings, all these things you can do from the settings. So each one requires its own programming. So the goal here is that, yes, there are some settings related to the accessibility. There are some settings related to the debugging. There are some settings related to the libraries, configurations, modules, themes, and all. That's it. Now, individual script. Next, what else we can do? Individual script tags. Individual script tag attributes, attributes. Attributes. So what are the individual script tag attributes? These again you can configure. What are the script tag attributes? I already explained, right? Theme, libs, dart, these are all. Okay. So individual tag attributes, script tag attributes. What are the script tag attributes you can configure? SAP UI, data what is that? Data SAP UI XXX. Okay, so where XXX is equal to what? XXX can be what? Okay, a string or boolean or integer or string array or map and so on, so on. Okay, so the examples are what? SAP data UI data SAP UI theme. Okay, data UI SAP data SAP UI configurations. Like there's so many out there. Theme, language, that, these and all. So you can do all those things here. Next, third one is single and complex configuration attributes. Single and complex configuration attributes. So let's say example, attribute 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 name for complex configuration. Example, attribute name for complex configuration is equal to, what is the attribute name? Data SAP UI key. Config. This is the example. So what does that mean? If at all someone is configuring like this, look at here. If at all someone is configuring like this, theme config is equal to, let's say, theme, you can specify whatever you want, libs, colon, SAP, UI, something and all. Okay, so let me put this example so that it will be understandable. I'm not sure how many people are able to understand. Let me put this example. Try to grab something. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that this one is there, right? Then data libs, that's fine. Okay. Even instead of you specify all these things, I'm just deleting some of the stuff. Goal reflection, you can specify, or you can specify in the complex type. Now what I'm doing is that SAP config is equal to, you can specify the complex type, complex attribute. That is what the meaning. What is the meaning of complex attribute? You can specify everything inside. See, previously also you are defining the theme, right? So instead of you define there, you can also define like this, theme colon. So what is the theme? SAP underscore gold reflection. Gold SAP hyphen blue crystal. CRYSTAL, blue crystal. Okay, if you want to specify one more, comma, libraries, libs, colon. So what is the lib? SAP dot UI dot commons. Then code needs to be entered, then double quotes, then this one. So this is called a complex derivative or complex attribute. See, previously also we were defining the theme. Previously also we defined the libraries, but you have an option to define like this also. If you are defining an option like this, then it's called a complex attribute. Then it is called a complex attribute. That's it. I'm just putting this example so that so the complex attributes are defined in the config. Okay, single and complex configuration attributes. So example is this one. And the fourth one. Then the fourth one is global configuration object. If you want to configure global objects, then you are going to use what? Global configuration object. If you want to create it, then you can use something called SAP U. One second. Yeah. So if you want to create a global configuration, you can also create like this. Something. The syntax would be like this. Okay. If you want to create a global configuration, then what you can do is that you can do with the help of window. Okay. So create with the help of global window property, global object, global window object. Create with the help of global window object, global window object with property called, with property name SAP-UI-config. That's what the meaning. So it will take some time for you to understand, but try to see something what I'm trying to say. If you want to configure some global configuration objects, then you can specify like this. Right now you are specifying like this. Instead of this, you can also specify like this with the help of window. Script ID is equal to, you can give some ID. So SAP, or we already have, right? Yeah. Okay, ID is equal to this one. Then type that okay. So there is something called window. Okay, then brackets. You can specify this one. Then these properties or these attributes are global now. Okay, so then if you want to define it, then you need to use what? SAP-UI-config config, then window of this one is equal to, then you need to specify the parameters. What are the parameters? Let's say theme colon SAP underscore blue crystal, CRY blue crystal, CRY, yes, blue crystal. Okay, that is a theme, SAP-blue crystal, comma libs colon SAP.UI.commons. Okay, then this one. Okay, so then end of this one. Then this is like a statement. So let's have a semicolon. That's it. So you can define like this. That's what I mean. So generally we will not use this global and all because it's going to take some memory, all these things. But I don't know when exactly this you can use it. I don't see any scenario where it is useful. But if at all you want to have someone make some nice script, no, you need to end this one, then write inside this. Okay, yeah. Script window. So inside the window, you need to use a property called SAP SAP-UI-config. For that, you are applying a theme, then comma, you are applying libs. Then end this one, end this one. That's it. End this one, then this one. That's it. So take this print screen, put it here, and where is it? This is what I am trying to say. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Next one is as we talk about URL parameters. So you can specify configuration by adding them as parameters to the start URL of an application. We'll see this one in coming days. Next, sixth one. What else we can do? What else we can configure? Runtime configuration object. So runtime configuration object. So this is with the help of what? Runtime configuration. So final configuration results can read by SAP UI-getCode.get configuration. We'll try to execute these methods maybe tomorrow. What exactly this meaning of this method, that method and all. SAP-UI-getCode.get configuration. So this is one of the method. It's going to return the configuration. We'll see that one, what is the meaning of that configuration and all. I'll execute some of the methods in tomorrow's class. The core functions. So the title is understanding of the core functions. That is what the title. We'll see that one, some of the examples. Next, compatibility version you can configure. Compatibility version information. You can configure it. Compatibility version information you can configure it. So like version flag. Okay, so if you look at the example, let's see the example. Example means I'll not write complete code, but you can look at here. You can use something like here. So if you want to configure let me revert back the changes. If you want to configure the version, then you can configure like this. SRC, then this is gold reflection, then libraries, then that's fine. Then there is one more thing called data hyphen SAP hyphen UI hyphen compact version, compact compact version hyphen XYZ. Here you can specify what is the library version. So what is the library version? Do you remember? How to find out the UI5 library version? I already executed the program, right? Do you remember what is the version we were used? I want the answer from Venu. Venu, what is the version we use? I have written the program also. I executed. You have seen some version. What is that?
1.7.
1.26. So what is the shortcut? What is the shortcut?
Right click.
Right click. Okay.
No. Shift to something. Shift to alt something. Some keyword.
That's what I need. What is that? Okay. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Alt Shift plus P.
Yeah.
So the version is 1.26.3. Actually, I am having the lower version. Don't worry. Okay, it's something like right now 1.8 something. If you look at here, if you go and use this the standard library, right? So instead of this, if you use https://SAP UI5 .hana.ondemand, that one, then you will see 1.8 something. 1.8 something. So the same way here also you can specify that. Okay, here also you can specify that version, like 1.6 and all. So there is a version flag. Okay, so you can specify compact version. So, and this is a specific version. If you want to specify the global version, you can use up to this. Up to this also is fine. So this is the best way. But if you want to use XYZ version, still you can use it. 1.8, 1.18, something. You can use like this. So therefore, the basic purpose of this one is you can use this tag. Okay, so example is this one. I'm just putting this example. I don't want to write entire script again and again. So if you want to specify the version and all, so this is how you can specify in the script tag. This is what you can configure. Full stop. Next 8th one is. Now the question is, if no version is defined, let's say in the program, till now we did not write this one, right? If no version is defined, what happens? That is the question some of them are asking. What happens if no version is defined? See, if I define the version, then it will take the version. If I am not defining, obviously what happens? It will take the original version. So if original version is 1.8, it will take 1.8. If I am defining 1.1, then 1.1 will be considered. If I am defining 1.8, then 1.8 will take. So if I am not defining, whatever my library is, that will be populated. So that's very simple, straightforward. Okay, if no version is defined, then ORIGINAL, original behavior of the feature is applied. Okay, so of the feature is applied. Now you have something called what that's it. You can apply the browser version, compact version, all these things. Okay, so the browser version, compact version, all these things you can specify. That's about the versions. So the next thing is that what are the list of the configuration options? Let me show you help so that you can understand some of the steps, because there will be a big list. UI5 list of configuration options. At least if you remember a few of the stuff, or if you know how to search it, then we are good. List of configuration options. Here, I don't think so you'll have here. That's a generalized one. Configuration options. Maybe I'm not searching properly. So UI5 configuration options. Okay, so look at here, I got it. Yeah, so this is what I talked about. That's what, see, it is, see, by looking at here, you need to visualize whether you are getting the correct results or not. It's not like, okay, by opening everything, you will find out all those things. No, there is a, that's what the, you know the theory, right? So in the Google, so it's like this, the internet information, okay, so this is called data mining, whatever I am talking about. Whatever I am talking about is called data mining. So this is one of my project in MTech. I did in MTech data mining side. So that time the problem is, this is the problem. So the problem is in the internet, every 20 months the data is increased. Okay, so remember these conclusions, these are very much important. So what is the data mining and all, let's see. Maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, but it is going to give good knowledge, try to understand. So data mining. So IBM released one survey, or IBM did one survey. Survey on what? What is the internet information quantity? So if you look at here, the internet information is double every 20 months. They did a lot of research on the internet information, and the conclusion is, what the IBM is saying is that internet information is double in every 20 months. That means what? Let's say we have, assume that in the internet there is a 2 GB data today. After 20 months, how much it is going to be? 4 GB. After another 20 months, how much it is going to be? 8 GB, like that. But it's not GBs, it's tera. It's a tera, or after tera, what is the next parameter? Okay, millions, jillions. After tera also we have something. What is that?
Peta.
Peta is before tera, right? Okay, fine. Let me. I can search it and find out, but let me give the conclusion. Okay, so IBM did a survey, and they concluded that in the internet information is doubled every 20 months. Okay, that's fine. Peta. After peta, there is something. What is that? Okay, fine. Now come back here. So in the internet, the information is doubled every 20 months. That is what the survey final results is. Now the question is, if the internet information is doubled every 20 months, then if I go and type something, that's what the reason. Computer, if I type computer, there is a lot of information is coming on. So how to filter this data is nothing but the data mining. How to filter this data is nothing but the data mining. That means what? There is a vast amount of data available in the internet. There is a vast amount of data available in the internet, and it's increasing. Yeah, tera, peta, exa, yeah, something like that. Okay, fine. Now, if you look at here, internet information is doubled every 20 months. Now, if someone go and type computer, there is and what they say is that this is what the meaning. Okay, look at this conclusion. The internet information is doubled every 20 months, and people are using only 7% of the internet information on day-to-day basis. Look at this one. So one of the conclusion is what they said. Internet information is doubled every 20 months, and whatever information is available already, people are just using 7%. Do you mean that the rest of 93% is wasteful information? Now the question is, do you think that rest of 93% of the data, whatever available in the internet, is a waste? Definitely not waste. Our algorithms is not able to search the data. So therefore, how to develop efficient algorithms is nothing but the data mining. That's why even if you see Google, they are almost changing the background algorithm to search every week or every 4 days once. Look at here. I type computer. If I type computer, I got the response in let's say 1 second. Type the same computer, same bandwidth, same network. After 5 days or 6 days, you may get less response or more response. That means what? The search engine algorithms are keep on changed by the Google. Don't think that the search engine, whatever the search algorithms, whatever they use internal, are same for a couple of months. No, they are almost changing a week one algorithm. If you want, you can just go and read some articles. Okay, so the thing is that the internet information is doubled every 20 months, and what this is that people are just using 7% of the information whatever available. That does not mean that the rest of the 93% of the information is waste. That 93% information is also useful, but the thing is that we need to write efficient data mining algorithms such a way that we can get some more information from the 93% also. That's called data mining algorithms or whatever it may be. Yeah, I went because the reason is here something configuration option. I did not get proper help. I did not go through all the links. What did I do? I put my config options in the double quotes such a way that I got the correct information. It's your responsibility to get the correct information from the Google. Because if you look at the previous results, I don't see my expected results at all. I don't see my expected results at all here. And if I go next tab, I will not get. You need to apply smart help search. Okay, so this is what my smart help search is. Okay, that's fine. Now come back. So these are the different configuration options. So this is what we talked about: accessibility, these and all, areas, binding, debugs, formatters, language changes, libraries, and all. Okay, so these are some of the experimental options. That means why they are saying experimental options, they will not guarantee you the results. Please remember that wherever you see something called experimental options, they will not guarantee you the results. It depends upon your browser, environment, these and all. So if you want, you can experiment it. Most of the cases it will work, but worst case, if it is not working, they are not responsible to answer you. That is what the meaning. See, 99% it will work. Let's say 1% is not working, and you cannot go and complain them that okay, I used your library and it is not working. That is what the meaning of experimental options. I am repeating this conclusion again. Let's say you use this option in your coding. Somehow it is not working. If it is not working, so you cannot go and complain them. Because the reason is they already said that okay, it is an experimental option. 99% it will work. If at all if it is not working, you are not having rights to go and complain them. But let's say if it is not working, then you can very well complain on this functionality. They will respond to you. Okay, they will respond to you. That's fine. Now come here. These are the what I was trying to say. These are the list of the configurations available. Okay, what are the configurations? Accessibility, animations, debug, format, locale, effect, language, libs, log levels, modules, preloaded, resources, RTL. RTL is right to left. This would be the UI, right to left. Default is right to left only. Theme, trace, like that, so many are there. Okay, so that's all about. Then the next thing is that maybe we can write the programming tomorrow, as some people are not there. I can type all these things in this. I can just give a list here. Don't worry. Okay, finally, list of configurations. Configuration options is equal to what? So I can type it quickly. Theme you can configure. Then what else? Language you can configure. This is the conclusion. LANGUAGE. Language you can configure. Then accessibility you can configure. Then animation you can configure. Right to left you can configure. Debug options you can configure. No conflict you can configure. Yes or no. No duplicate IDs you can configure. Then what else? Trace you can configure. Modules you can configure. Libs you can configure. Then what else? Then what else we have? White list service. I don't know what this. White list service. Okay. UI prefix you can configure. Whether you want prefixes, that, this and all. Trace I already written. Let's see. Theme roots. Theme I already told. RTL. Resources roots you can configure. Okay, if you want different resources root, all these things. Preload libraries you can configure. Preload options you can configure. Then what else? On init options you can configure. Okay, original info. Something. If you want each one, then it is going to take a good amount of time. If you want the example at all, log level, you can go and practice one by one. Inspect, frame options you can configure, frame format, locale you can configure. These are some. I have to stop it now because it's enough to type all these things. Debug, animation, so on, so. So these are the configurable options finally. If you remember the final option, then that's fine. Those are the configurations options. That's it. Now the next thing is that what is the next thing? I would like to write the programs, libraries. Maybe we can see tomorrow, as 2 more guys are not there. What else theory we can cover? We have done most of the stuff on that front. I would like to explain what is the view, frame, fragment, controls, components. But as others are not there, it's difficult. I'll do one thing. I'll type some of the notes and I'll go through quickly tomorrow on those, and followed by the programs. Okay? Anything else? These are all about then we need to talk about the bindings. Before bindings, I need to explain some more programs. Then once we are done with the bindings, then mostly we will concentrate on the SAPM. That's nothing but the mobile library. And also we need to concentrate on these buttons and all. I'll explain hardly 2 days because these examples, you can also just copy the code and paste the code and execute it. I don't want to spend more time there. Maybe I can spend 2 days of time. UI5 help. If you look at here, let's say you want to use the button. So here you have the controls. Let's say you want to use the dialog box. Okay, dialog box. So they talk about what is the dialog box and all. So this is what the meaning of dialog box. And I'll show you how to run these programs and all by taking the code. Maybe we'll spend only 2 days on this because everything is well structured here and everything is available here. I don't want to spend time here. I can very well spend. I can take each and every program I can run. So it will take minimum 20 days. Daily 5 controls, 20 days, 20 into 5. How much? 20 into 5. Okay, 100 controls. So I can cover all the controls. So, but that is not the one what we are expecting from here. Okay, so I'll show you how to run those programs on different situations, so that whenever you required you want a dialog, just go and take some piece of code from here and there and try to configure as per your requirements. So anyway, I'll explain all these things from here, certain things that will take 2 days. Once the data binding is over, we'll cover this one, or we'll go this UI then data bindings. That will decide. But I would like to spend one more day on this basic programming. So tomorrow we'll talk about how to use the core functionalities or core functions, followed by certain examples like text reader, that reader, this reader and all, blah, blah, blah. That's it. That's all for today. Thank you. Okay, bye. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can ask me. Guys, you there?
Yes, sir.
Bye.
That's it then, bye.